Stop. Look at the person closest to you. Now ask a harder question. Do you know them or do you know their performance? Most people believe time reveals character. But time often does something else. It teaches people how to repeat the same mask smoothly. Machiavelli understood this before modern psychology had names for it. Character is not revealed in long, comfortable seasons. It leaks in short, unplanned moments. You have been watching the painting. In this video, you learn to watch the cracks in the canvas. We live in a theater. Every day, people adjust tone, posture, and stories to be accepted, trusted, promoted, chosen. That is not always evil. It is social survival, but some people use performance not to belong but to extract. They mirror your values. They praise your strengths. They feel warm on the surface, but the warmth is calculated. Machiavelli wrote that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you are. So the question is simple. How do you change the lighting? You do not need dramatic crises. A crisis is too loud. Almost anyone can act noble for a moment under spotlights. You need the thin slice. A small pressure point, a tiny variable they did not rehearse for. When you learn these slices, you stop guessing. You stop hoping. You stop being surprised by predictable behavior. There are 3 moments that reveal a person fast. Not their words, not their promises, their reflex. And once you see these reflexes, you cannot unsee them. So take a breath. We start with the smallest test. The first reveal is the small no. A micro-boundary, a refusal that should be harmless. Why? Because a healthy person sees your no as information. A control-driven person sees your no as disobedience. They ask for something trivial. A change of plan, a small favor, a minor adjustment. You reply calmly to not today. No long excuse, no apology parade, just a clean boundary. Now watch the reaction. Not the sentence. The micro shift, eyes, jaw, breath, temperature in the room. A grounded person stays steady. They pivot, they adapt, they keep respect intact. But an entitlement-driven person glitches. A flash of irritation, a pause that feels sharp, a sweetness that turns thin. They may recover quickly and say, all good. But you felt the drop. That drop is the real message. Why does this matter? Because if they cannot respect a small boundary, they will pressure bigger ones later. The small no is not about coffee or plans. It is about whether they recognize your autonomy as real. So test it gently. Not to play games, to protect your future time and peace. If a person punishes your no with coldness, guilt, or mood swings, notice it. That is a pattern, not a one-time moment. Now the second reveal is darker. It does not test control, it tests the heart. It is how they react when you win. Not when you suffer, not when you struggle, when you rise. Many people can comfort pain. Comforting pain can make them feel big, helpful, important. But celebrating your success requires inner security. And inner security is rare. So share good news once. A win you earned, a result, a milestone. Say it with real joy. Then pause and observe. Ignore the words. Watch the timing, the eyes, the energy behind the smile. A loyal person adds fuel to your win. Their joy feels clean. Their questions move you forward. A threatened person performs celebration. But the smile ends quickly, the focus shifts, the air gets competitive. They may pivot to themselves. Or they may offer a compliment with a hidden needle. Nice, you got lucky. That is the silent funeral. They are not celebrating you. They are mourning their own status. And a person who quietly mourns your growth is not neutral. They become friction in your future. They may never attack openly, but they will be slow, passive, doubting, conveniently absent when it matters. So remember the rule. The ones who go quiet when you win are not your foundation. Now we reach the third reveal. The most honest one because it happens when accountability is low. The third reveal is the no spotlight test. How someone behaves when they believe there are no consequences. Not in dramatic scenes. In ordinary moments where power is present, service, hierarchy, inconvenience, delay. Watch how they treat people who cannot help them. The person who serves food, the person who cleans, the person who has no status in the room. A stable person stays consistent. Respect is not performance for them, it is a default setting. A status-hungry person becomes two people. Charm upward, coldness downward, kindness becomes conditional. This is not about being perfect. It is about pattern. A consistent pattern is a real character signal. Because when nobody is watching, the mask relaxes. And the relaxed version is the real baseline. So pay attention to small moments. A delay, a mistake, a minor inconvenience. Do they stay measured? Or do they turn it into a power display, a public correction, a subtle humiliation? Machiavelli would call this a truth window. Not because it is dramatic, but because it is unfiltered. Now connect the three reveals. Small no, reaction to your win, behavior with low consequences. If someone fails all three, do not argue. Do not preach, do not try to fix, just reduce access. Because access is the real currency. Your time, your trust, your energy, your inner world. You do not need conflict to leave. You need clarity. A quiet exit is often the strongest one. Now, before you feel too comfortable judging everyone, we flip the lens. Because the final level is not spotting patterns, it is becoming clean yourself. Here is the part most people avoid. If you want better people around you, you must become harder to manipulate. So run the same 3 tests on yourself. Not with shame, with precision. When someone tells you no, what happens inside? Do you accept calmly, or does your ego look for ways to regain control? When a friend wins, what do you feel first? Clean joy or a tight pinch that you hide behind a smile? When you have the advantage in a moment, how do you act? Do you stay consistent, or do you let power change your tone? This is not moral theater. This is self-governance, and self-governance is the real status. A man who can accept no with grace signals abundance. He signals options, he signals stability. A man who can celebrate others without bitterness signals strength. He signals confidence that does not depend on comparison. A man who stays respectful when no one is watching signals character. And character is the foundation that attracts better circles. So here is your simple protocol. Test lightly, observe quietly, choose deliberately. Stop giving unlimited access to people who fail basic respect. Stop feeding relationships that punish your boundaries. And do not try to rescue poor patterns with long explanations. Explanations rarely change reflex. Selection changes your life. The people you keep close become your environment, and your environment becomes your future. Machiavelli's real lesson is not cruelty. It is accuracy. See clearly, choose cleanly, move quietly. If this video felt uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is often the first sign you are finally seeing reality without filters. Because once you can read character in small moments, life gets lighter. You stop being surprised, you stop paying for lessons twice, and you start building a circle that matches your standards. Not big, not loud, just real.